Hello, Sogcast fans. Another week is in the books, and the Mariners are still in first place, narrowly holding a half-game lead against Texas, but still sole possession of first place. Good to see. Still haven't lost a series since.
It's been a couple weeks.
It's been a couple weeks, so we'll get into that, give you a recap, and we actually have some fan topics that we're supposed to discuss this week about Mitch Garver, so here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sogcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Garrett.
So yeah, first and foremost, still in first place. Always
yeah.
a good thing.
Very nice.
Haven't lost a series. Taken 2 of 3. No sweeps since the Cincinnati series, but winning 2 of 3, that's all you need to do, and that's what they've been doing.
We just keep winning series.
Yeah.
We'll be good to go.
Hell yeah.
That's the name of the game. I mean, 3-game series, win 2 out of 3. That's a pretty good winning percentage. But right now, our record is 18-15, and 18 out of 33 games. Guess what winning percentage we have, boys?
What winning percentage is that, Matt?
54%.
The dreaded, or I guess famous, 54%. That's
Yep.
what DePoto's shooting
That's
for.
the goal.
Hey, they're
We're
right
meeting
on
the
pace.
goal.
Right on pace. We'd like to see them get the offense rolling a little more, but our pitching has been carrying us. Logan Gilbert just went 8 solid. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but oh my God, Logan Gilbert dominated the Astros, and that feels great.
It's hard not to talk about the game that happened today.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
the game
that was
we got
exciting.
done watching not that long ago. But to bring it back, recap all the way to bringing it back. Last Sunday, the Mariners did not get the sweep against the D-backs. They fell in the final game. 2-3 loss. Another one-runner. Mariners are notorious for one-run games, and sometimes they come out on top. This time they didn't.
We like to say we should have won that game, all these close games that we lose. And, I mean, we had a lot of opportunities to win that game. We had the lead right away. That was nice to see.
Right. Rojas leading off hit another home run.
Another
Yeah.
leadoff home run.
He's been really reliable.
Was that 2 in the same series? I think it was.
It was back-to-back days.
Oh, my God. Rojas has
Yes.
been the man.
It was 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
He's hit 2 homers and a triple as a leadoff man, which is really nice to see.
Reminds me of Crawford last year, how so reliable he was. You know he's getting on base in the first at-bat of the game.
Yeah.
It's always good to get ahead.
Well,
Puts you in a good spot to win.
very much. And that was a Logan Gilbert day. He ended up with the no decision there. He went 6.1 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. One of those hits was a home run, just a solo shot by Christian Walker in the top of the second to make it 1-1.
Can we get my boy Logan some run support?
Please.
That thing where he's like 36-0 if he has 3 or more runs of run support.
I think
and just-
tonight makes it 32 career starts where
Yeah.
if he gets
Come
3
on.
plus, we win.
And sure enough, in this last Sunday game, the Mariners only put up 2. So not enough. But he didn't get the loss for it, which is good because he didn't deserve it. He pitched great.
Yeah.
He did.
Great day for Logan. Pitched against Brandon Pfaadt.
Fott, right. Spelled Pfaadt.
Oh, God, I'm glad I didn't have to look at that name and pronounce it.
It looks like fat.
It looks like fat. But
He
it's
dropped a fat one on us, dudes.
He did.
Like,
The Mariners struck out 15 times in that game. So, I mean,
yeah.
Give it up for the boys.
Woo! Doing what we do best, man. Leading
Setting
the league
records.
in strikeouts.
they love striking out.
God,
Fott
yeah,
had
they
a
do.
really good start against us, and he has good stuff, man. I've been looking at him on fantasy baseball, so he's been having some nice starts recently. There's not a lot you can do when the Mariners' offense struggles the way it does, and Fott is doing what he's doing. And there is a bright spot, though. Leo Rivas hit a triple. Was
In
that
his Major League
first
debut.
hit? In the majors, he hit a triple. Very nice.
That's
on an
awesome.
0-2 count, too.
Leading off the inning right.
That dude has been in the minors for like 10 years.
Yeah.
At least he made it.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Welcome to the show.
He's still up here until we can get some guys back from the IL, so hopefully he can do what he can. Rojas reached on catcher's interference. He hit the catcher's mitt with his bat and took first base. Julio hit a single, and we scored 2-1. Polanco, he dribbled a ball to third base and Eugenio Suarez like wanted to go to second base, but no one was covering.
Been there.
And
Where you're off second base, or where you're trying?
I
got you. I see. I'm
Patrick's
sorry.
trying to swipe second base.
Always.
No one's covering. But anyway, Polanco beat that out at first base because Suarez looked at 2 and then couldn't get him out at first base. We ended up with the bases loaded, and our boy Mitch Garver comes up.
Oh, that's the Mariners' kryptonite, though.
Yeah, it
the
is.
bases loaded, inning over, and I mean, par for the course.
Mitch Garver grounds into his 5th double play of the year and ends the inning that way. That's the point where we really needed to score. 1 out, bases loaded. We lose this game 2-3.
That's
Come
the old
on.
Seattle special. Bases loaded, can't score any runs.
And it doesn't even matter how many outs there are. Doesn't
could be
matter.
0 outs.
It could be bases loaded, 0 outs.
That runner's
1
not
out,
coming
2
in.
out. Doesn't matter.
Even tonight, we scored a run on a double play.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool. We have runners on and no outs, and we have an RBI double play. Like, that's Mariners shit.
Sure is. The old Seattle special.
Logan pitched into the 7th inning. He ended up facing Eugenio Suarez, and Suarez doubled to left field and tied this game up 2-2 late in the game. They let Logan kind of go a little bit longer than he needed to, but it's Logan Gilbert. What are you going to do? That dude's rolling. You let him go. And it's Eugenio Suarez. You think you can strike that guy out, and he ends up slapping a double. And at least it's a lovable guy that did that to us. We could have made the decision to put in somebody from the bullpen, a fresh arm that he hasn't seen 2 times today already. But we left Logan in and kind of got torched for it. But, hey, what can you do?
What can you do?
At least it was Gino and not.
And that was and
Cattell Marte.
Yeah.
I don't like that guy.
And that was his that was Suarez's only hit in the series too. So it just happened to be in a big moment. Mariners lost that game, but whatever. Took the series. Move on to the Braves. The Braves came to town. Braves had the hottest offense in baseball. They were averaging like 5 or 6 runs a game. I mean, their offensive output was through the roof. And sure enough, Mariners pitching went toe-to-toe with them. On Monday, we had Bryce Miller with the start.
Oh, yeah.
Great outing from Bryce. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 earned run, 10 strikeouts.
Career high.
K'ing them up.
That's right. Dude, Bryce Miller, he started off hot. He had a no-hitter through 6 innings. Through, what was it? No base runners allowed, 6 Ks, 11 swing and misses on 4-seamers through 4 innings and only 46 pitches. That was very efficient, and they knew his fastball was something special all day long. Going through 4 innings like that, he kept throwing it all day, and he has relied more on his pitch mix to make his fastball more of a weapon, but that day they just kept going with it, and it didn't really matter what he was throwing up there. They were swinging and missing. And that's what we like to see from Bryce Miller. That dude can spin a fastball.
And he was going up against Max Fried that day, the pitcher for the Braves, who is also a very great pitcher. Oh my God, watching that dude's curveball, it reminded me of like Barry Zito back in like the 90s and early 2000s and stuff.
Yep.
He's throwing this thing like 74 miles per hour, and he's just breaking over the top. Max Fried had really fun movement. He's a fun pitcher to watch. And he also had a great start. The Mariners were no-hit through 7 innings. There was a double no-hitter going on through the 6th, and then the Braves got their first hit, and then the Mariners got a hit an inning later. But still, double no-hitter.
Fried was a shootout.
Fried was on point. And it all boiled down to, in the bottom of the 9th, and a player who we're going to be talking about a lot later in this episode. But Mitch Garver came up in the bottom of the 9th. It's 1-0. We are 3 outs away from getting shut out at home and a 1-0 loss, which would have been miserable for everybody. And sure enough, to start the bottom of the 9th, Polanco leads off. First pitch, ropes one to left field. Mitch Garver comes up. He's actually ahead in the count 3-0. Looking for a walk, looking for something.
Cal's on deck. I remember thinking just like,
Just get on base.
Garver, take this walk. Let Cal come in. All he
Yeah.
needs is a base hit, and we can tie this game up.
And instead, it was 3-0, goes to 3-1, goes to 3-2, and then on a full count pitch, dude hangs one right at the top of the zone, and Mitch Garver, I mean, he sent it into orbit.
Yes.
crushed this
absolutely crushed. Upper deck, in the bleachers, left field, and his he had a nice little bat flip with it. I wouldn't even call it a bat flip. It was a bat drop, but it was
Bat toss? I don't know.
it was a drop, but it was just like a look of relief and just like, I did it. I finally like did my job, and it was phenomenal. And
His face said it all, man. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
just like, Jesus Christ.
Like,
finally
thank
I did
God.
this. Just like, get rid of this. Okay, let's go around the bases. His first career walk-off home run. He's been in the league for a while, and he is an impact bat. And I'm sure there's been opportunities for him in his career to hit that. And he finally did it for a new team, which he's struggling horribly on right now. That's a very big confidence boost for Mitch Garver at that moment in the week, and that was exactly what we needed from that kind of guy in that moment. And yeah, I was just hoping that he'd maybe even strike out so he doesn't hit into a double play and ruin Polanco's leadoff hit, you know what I mean? I was like, okay,
dude.
let's just get to Cal on deck here and maybe we can get something going. But Garver just put it in his own hands, and for the first time, man, just,
Good.
yeah, amazing.
Hell of a walk-off.
Yeah, and a lot happened in that game, man. I mean, the Mariners left the bases loaded in the middle of the game there, or late in the game there. It was the
Late.
8th inning.
yep.
And in the 8th inning, the Mariners finally, Rojas pinch hit and broke up the no-no with a pinch hit single. And then we got the bases loaded. Arias couldn't lay down a bunt, but
that one pissed me off.
yeah, that was
I was so mad. Oh my God. Lay down the bunt. Lay it down. Lay down the damn bunt.
There's
Oh
no
my God.
outs, runners on first and second. It's never a bad idea to lay that bunt down and make it so that the defense doesn't have the double play situation and we don't force our slowest runners into a double play. And we needed to lay that bunt down, but he ends up not getting it down and striking out. So that was a tough situation for
Tough scene out there.
Arias.
Yeah.
Rough one.
And then Julio
real.
popped out to Kellenic in shallow left. The runners couldn't go anywhere. And Haniger strikes out, and we left him loaded when we needed the runs the most late in the game. Like, that's the, what do you call it, Garrett?
The Seattle special?
The
Seattle special.
Yeah. I think Bars should have a promotion. Every time the Mariners
They'd
leave
go
the
out of
bases
business.
loaded, you get half off your next drink. They would go out of business, huh?
The Mariners, yeah, pretty atrocious with the bases loaded. There is actually a thing that Miller did in that game that I really wanted to bring up that I thought was super impressive from a pitcher he's in his second year, you know, and incredibly veteran presence during the 7th inning. Acuna gets a single. And Miller hadn't dealt with any traffic in the game, really. So Acuna gets on, steals second, steals third. His timing is off. He doesn't look focused. And with Acuna on third, gives up a deep RBI double. And at that point, made the game 1-0. And Miller just completely, like after that double and the run scored, he just completely changed his thought process. And he was just lights out. He adjusted to like the little bit of adversity he was under
Shake that shit off.
and just shook it off. And
Yeah.
then 1, 2, 3, the next 3 hitters and got out of the inning with very limited damage. And I just thought that was incredibly impressive for this young pitcher to get rattled like that. And clearly you could see it with Acuna on the base pass. He didn't look fully prepared. He didn't look as calm and collected as he had throughout the other, 6 innings of this game. And one little hiccup, and he recognized it and shut it down, and it was phenomenal. It was really, really cool to watch from Miller. A very veteran pitching performance from him.
Big moment of growth. And with Acuna on the bases, you're going to feel uncomfortable. He did exactly what he was supposed to do and exploited a young pitcher who still doesn't know how explosive that type of runner can be. and they took second and third on our defense, no problem. And that's fine. He did make the adjustment. And after the game, Cal Raleigh was saying that too, he commended him for that adjustment and saying that, yeah, I mean, we went a little bit softer. We were going hard at him all day with the fastball, and we went soft, and we got him out with some soft stuff and going in the other direction rather than what they've been seeing all day, so that they're not expecting that hard fastball the whole time. And that's the type of veteran adjustment you need to make. Even though you've been doing one thing all day, you can still go to your second and third tricks and get them out that way. And that's great to see. Career day for him. That was awesome. The Mariners beat the Braves. The Braves, dude. They're so good.
Great pitching versus great hitting. We come out on top.
Make Matt Olson look stupid, too. I mean,
if only we could just give our boys a little run support. This pitching staff is nuts.
Yeah. These are the closest nail-biting games.
Score more than 2 runs, please?
Please. And going into Tuesday's game after winning the series opener, more of the same. More great pitching, more offense doing just enough to scrape out a win.
Yeah.
It was another one run win for the Mariners.
Oh, yeah.
Castillo day.
3-2 win with Castillo on the bump.
Castillo was awesome. He's been awesome. His last 3 or 4 starts have been super good. His slider is something that he didn't have his first few starts, and he has it in spades now. He can throw it for a strike. He can throw it for swing and miss. It's kind of his secondary. Is his only breaking pitch. So if he doesn't have command of that, he's kind of screwed. And when he has command of that, everything works because everything moves in other directions. He has 2 different kinds of fastballs, and if that slider's working and that changeup has always been a strength for him, good luck. He went 7 innings, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. And despite his blow-ups in his first few starts, his ERA is down to 3.46 now.
Beautiful.
So, and it's just going to go down. I mean,
at this rate, I'm not too worried about that.
No, me either.
He's looking in
started
full
out
form.
a little high, but he's getting it together. We're gonna get that number down a little bit.
Yeah,
we'll be all right.
Well, to start off this game,
dude,
again,
Josh Rojas,
our boy Josh
Rojas,
singles and then immediately steals a bag.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so valuable. He's able to steal bags. We didn't think of him as much of a base stealer because of his shape and size, but he's been stealing bags his whole career. I think he had 18 steals last year. Did you guys know he went to college in Hawaii?
No.
I did not know
just saw that today. Anyway, he's a cool dude. I like Josh.
Yes. Big Josh Rojas.
Filling in perfectly.
Yeah, dude. He's great.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say
he's pretty good.
I kind of like Josh Rojas.
I think he's a good guy.
He's got the best batting average on the team. Yeah. He's consistently just the most reliable hitter we have right now.
Let's get him out of that platoon and get at bats versus lefties.
Can't do it. Sorry. Can't do it.
I got stats to throw down later. You sure?
Wrong hand. Can't do it. Have to clearly play the handed matchups. I'm so tempted to go to a game and just sit right behind the Mariners dugout and just be like, Scott, Major League left-handed hitters can hit left-handed pitching. It can be done. It's not. Let the lefties hit, man. Let them hit.
I have numbers. We'll talk about it later.
You got the splits?
Yeah, I got the splits, baby. Well, Julio, he has one of the highest batting averages on our team, but also he strikes out more than anyone on our team. He's I don't know what he's doing up there, but he just seems like he's off kilter and swings out of his ass all the time.
Swinging hard.
I'll tell you what he's doing to me. He's not passing the eye test to me. I mean, he's still good, but I mean, let's be real. There's so many at bats where he looks overmatched at the plate. He's still trying to do too much. I took in my notes that he looks like he's about to blow his back out, swinging as hard as he can, especially that in the first inning, 3-pitch strikeout, swinging his ass off, and it just didn't look like a professional at bat. No adjustments, no, okay, I'm down in the hole 0-2, like what can I do to make this at bat better? No, just swing as hard as I can again, strike 3. All right, back to the bench.
I was looking at some of his splits on certain counts, and every time he goes 0-2, his strikeout rate is through the roof. I think that one was somewhere 50, 60 something percent. But when he's full count, his strikeout rate's like 72%.
Swinging.
On full count. But
Guaranteed swing.
When he's ahead in the count, his stats look awesome. When it's 2-1 even, his stats look good. But every time he has 2 strikes, he is so fucked. Like, his strikeout rate is through the roof. At least be able to put the ball in play. There's no adjustment being made, no 2-strike approach. He swings at the first pitch a lot, which sometimes is the best pitch you're going to get to hit. And if he does, that's great. But when he puts himself in the 0-1 hole, it doesn't help. Like, he's getting behind immediately. At least let the pitcher throw a pitch and see what he's throwing and work a count. Have some feel for the game. You're just out there swinging out of your ass. Your head is pulled off the ball. You're looking at the fucking sky. You're looking at the moon. Like, oh, hey, moon. I'm trying to hit a baseball right now. And, like, he's not seeing any pitches. They pitch him in and out so well, and he can't get those fastballs in and then adjust to a slider out. It's obvious how to expose him right now. But when he does put the bat on the ball, I mean, it's with authority, even though he's hitting the ball into the ground constantly right now, too. He needs to find a way to adjust his swing and timing, have different types of swings and different counts, and do damage with the pitches that are there for him and go with the pitches that aren't, and learn how to foul off some pitches and battle a pitcher. I bet he has one of the lowest pitches per at-bat on our team, or in the league even.
And again, we have harped on this so much, but damn, what is the coaching staff doing? Is no one telling Julio to take a breath up there? Because, like, how many times can the same thing keep happening? Like, yeah, he gets his hits, but his power numbers are down, his strikeout numbers are up, and in big moments, besides that walk-off single near the beginning of the year, where he looked so calm and collected in that at-bat, and sure enough, we saw the results from that. But now we're back to the same old, same old. He's coming up, trying to do too much, swinging out of his shoes. And where's the coaching? Where is the older guys telling him, take a breath out there. You're a major leaguer. Take major league at bats. And we're just not seeing it right now.
Yeah, someone buy that kid a ribeye so he's not so hungry for one in the game.
Some exciting things about this game, though. Polanco was all over this game. Home run, 2 amazing defensive plays, including one that saved runs, which ended up being a game-winning play when you only win by 1 run. So I was so impressed with Polanco in this game. And then
he's been great, man. Defensively all week and offensively. He's really turned things around, and he looks like he's kind of catching fire right now.
And Polanco is one of the only guys on the team right now where I feel like his batting average isn't fully telling the story. And I know nowadays with analytics and sabermetrics and all that stuff, batting average means less to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it still matters. The stat still matters. And it's like, okay, your expected batting average could be 300, but if you're still hitting 140, it doesn't matter on paper how good it could be. You're still batting 140.
Even if you're getting unlucky, you're still not hitting the ball as well as you should be.
Yeah.
It could be.
And, like, it takes into account, like, how hard you hit the ball and where you hit it and how often that should usually be a base hit.
Yeah, the shifts in play as well during that at-bat. All kinds of things go into expected stats.
Yeah, and I can see the benefit of that. And it does show, like, okay, this guy is at least putting good swings on the ball. But still, at the end of the day, what matters is how many times it actually happens. That's great on paper. Oh, it looks like he should be batting way higher. He's just getting unlucky. It's like, okay, I get it, but he's still not hitting. Unlucky or not, he's not getting hits. Now, with Polanco, he's the one where I feel like these hits are going to start coming, and they have been. It's definitely been picking up.
Yeah, I have some stats for him in the last 7 days, if you want to go over those.
Yeah, absolutely. I keep telling people Polanco's good.
Yes.
And I keep getting messages from people like, oh, he's not that good. And, then, especially toward the beginning of the season. And now I'm getting messages all the time that's being like, "Oh, you were right. Polanco's good." And I'm like yeah,
dude,
he is a good hitter.
good.
Stick with him.
Yeah.
So when he was not hitting very well at the beginning of the season, he was swinging a lot at the beginning of the season. He knew he wasn't hitting the ball well or seeing the ball well, so he needed to see more pitches. He was way more patient, was swinging at way more pitches in the zone, walking almost as much as he was striking out or more than he was striking out when he knew he wasn't seeing or putting the barrel on the ball well. That's a veteran adjustment. He saw more pitches. He started swinging more gradually. And in the last 7 days, he's hitting 286, 310 on base percentage, and a 536 slugging, which is really nice. And seeing that the batting average and the OBP is really close, 286 and 310, that means he's not walking as much. So I noticed 12 Ks and 1 walk this week compared to last week, the last 15 and 30 days where it was closer. And that's something that he knows how to do. He knows when to walk more and he knows when to swing more based on how he's feeling and what he's seeing. And that's the veteran adjustments I like to see from Polanco. And in the field, he's been great, and he's making a really big impact on this team this last week.
Which is a huge improvement because Polanco's defense was shaky to start the season.
Yeah.
And it's just not anymore. And especially, going back to this Tuesday win, he almost single-handedly won the game in like different aspects with his defense, with the home run. Just a phenomenal, great game from Polanco. Very happy to see.
Like you said, he was putting on a clinic, Patrick.
Yes.
You said it in the notes here. I just want to point that. He's the man. Expect more of that from Polo.
We also had another Seattle special in that game.
Awesome. Love to see it.
Yeah, we had Demo hit an RBI double. At that point, it made the game 3-0. And then Luke Raley came up and with 2 strikes on him, hits a single. We got runners on first and third.
That's clutch.
Josh Rojas comes up, works the count full, and then gets a walk. We got the bases loaded.
That's JP shit. He's filling in perfectly.
Yeah.
JP.
and with 2 outs, working a full count and a walk, great at bat from Rojas. And so after that epic battle between the pitcher and Rojas to earn that walk on a full count, Julio comes up, swings out of his ass on the very first pitch, light dribbler back to the pitcher, underhand flip to first, inning over. And all of that work with 2 outs just wasted on the first pitch because Julio is trying to be bigger than the game.
Get hits. Power will come. Just get more hits. Line drives, please.
Yeah. He's
Base
trying
hits.
too hard, man.
Yeah.
He's swinging like Bo Bichette and Giancarlo Stanton, dudes that strike out a million times and have insane power, but like tone it down. Like take 10% off there, bud.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
come on. Let's have some feel for the game. He's a great athlete. He's like an athlete first baseball player. Or it's like, dude, how long have you been playing baseball? Are you still going through these types of growing pains? Like, we all need to take some off and learn how to hit the ball to right field on a little flare to right field when you're trying to defend the zone with 2 strikes. And he just doesn't seem to get that at all. No finesse, just straight power.
You think there's something weird going on with his headspace? The kid is so talented.
Actually, I do. Once we wrap up this recap, we can really dive into that.
Okay.
Because especially the last two games, Julio's head, it doesn't even look like he knows where he's at on the field. And that's definitely something we'll get into after this recap.
Cool. Let's wrap up Tuesday. What else we got?
Well, last thing about Tuesday, final out of the game, Kellenic struck out. Looking silly. Munoz had him tying his shoes out there.
Even though he did have a diving catch earlier in the game, he made him look pretty ugly at the end.
Yeah. And sucks to suck, Kellenic. What can I say? Sorry, bro.
Sorry, buddy. Maybe next time.
Well, we can talk about Wednesday.
Oh, we can. Not much to say. Again, the Mariners win the first 2 games of the series, going for the sweep, and they didn't have their most competitive lineup out there, too.
No.
And
That's putting it lightly.
It is Wednesday day game, too. After 2 really tough battles where there was a lot of drama. Even the night before, like, we had some some panic in the 8th
Stanek
and ninth
panic.
inning. Stanek came in and couldn't get it done, ended our shutout. Munoz threw the ball away. So a lot went on the last couple nights, and there were very dramatic wins for the Mariners. And then they come in on the day game with Hancock pitching. I feel like it's almost they feel like they're throwing these types of games away. Like last Sunday when they were already up in the series 2-0. They know they took the series, so that Sunday didn't feel as serious, and the B squad's in. And now again on Wednesday, we won the first 2 games of the series, and Zavala and Haggerty are starting, and Emerson Hancock's pitching. So it almost feels like a throwaway day. Like maybe this is the one to lose if we're gonna lose one.
And the Wednesday game was actually winnable. The Mariners lost 5-2, but only one of those runs were earned. Mitch Haniger had a really, really rough day in the field.
2 drop balls in right field.
In the same
Runs scored
same
on
inning.
both of those drop balls.
It led to 4 runs
Come
scoring.
on, man.
And it's kind of funny.
Haniger.
It is kind of funny that if those errors didn't happen, if those runs don't score, the Mariners would have won another 1-run game, 2-1. But alas, defensive miscues, not your best lineup out there.
Haniger's acknowledged his shitty defense too. So I mean,
I'm actually glad you brought
knows.
that up. Haniger, awesome veteran. He took full responsibility after the game. Yeah, he was like, don't blame it on the lights, the wind, the sun. Doesn't matter. I misplayed those balls.
I dropped those.
Yeah, it was my
balls,
fault.
yeah.
Like,
I was trying to look up splits. Like, does he suck during the day? Like, what's going on?
No,
like,
just
dude.
had a bad day.
He had
it was just a bad day. The whole game was pretty much. It was just a crapshoot, honestly.
Yeah, the one good thing I saw was that Julio went 3 for 5 for 1, but also our bullpen was 5.1 innings, 0 earned runs. I love to see that from our bullpen, who's been locked down. Julio hit the ball, didn't strike out. Our bullpen did what it needed to do. It's just that we just did not have it that day.
Nope.
And Haniger really screwed the pooch, and to say the least.
Yeah, it was a rough one. But, hey, in the words of Lloyd McClendon, that's just baseball.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Lloyd.
We got a game tomorrow, boys.
Which they didn't.
They didn't have a game.
We'll get him tomorrow.
After that, Thursday was a travel day.
That made 5 series wins in a row?
It
Yes.
did.
Oh,
And
my God.
funny enough, the Mariners' starting pitching streak of going 6 innings and allowing 2 or less runs is still
It continued, yeah.
still continued because there was only 1 earned run.
The errors, yep, it made it so that only 1 earned run by Hancock, even though he pitched like 3.2 innings, 1 earned run, gave up 5 runs. 5 runs, but 1 of them was earned.
Only 1 of them earned.
That's
yeah.
nice. So we keep the streak alive. Here we go into Friday. We go to Houston, going into their little bandbox stadium with their Crawford boxes at 315 feet in left field. It's ridiculous.
Our high school field is deeper than that.
Oh, yeah. Ours had a tall fence, too. It was almost as tall as the Crawford boxes in left. It was like 330 and a tall fence. Like, good luck. Yeah. But anyway, we got George Kirby on the mound for the opener.
Josh Rojas with the leadoff hit.
Josh Rojas.
Super reliable.
Dude, he's the man. We really need to get him out of this platoon. I got more stats later on Rojas, but that's the best way to start off a game is your leadoff hitter gets on base. I don't think he scored, but that's okay. He's doing exactly what he needs to do.
You get the ball rolling.
That's right. Polanco.
Another home run?
He started the scoring off. 1-0 in the third base, home run. Top of the 5th inning, Dylan Moore, home run.
Into the Crawford boxes. They work out for us, too.
Yep, the
Dude,
first row of the
first
Crawford
row.
boxes. Apparently, that's the only ballpark that it would have been a home run in, too. So,
Yeah.
hey, Dylan Moore, he ripped that. That was a friggin' piss missile out there to the first row. It didn't look like they were feeling very comfortable, the people that tried to make the catch. Ouch. 6th inning.
7th inning is when the wheels really started to fall off.
Yep.
Cal Raleigh had a throwing error on a stolen base that allowed a run to score.
That's bullshit, man. Don't be throwing that ball. He has a snap throw down to third base. Don't throw that ball, Cal. What are you doing, man?
Yeah.
That's way too risky to be doing that. That's Cal Raleigh behind the plate, and I think that's a big mental mistake on his part.
And I think that's something he definitely will learn from. That's not a typical play that we'd see from Cal.
That's why I'm saying bullshit. Come on, don't do that.
It was just, he wasn't thinking clear, and it wasn't a great throw. And
Sure, Rojas was surprised. He's like, whoa, coming right at me. Yeah.
And then this ties into the earlier topic about Julio, like headspace. There was a play also in the bottom of the 7th inning, fly ball to right field. Mitch Haniger is camped under it. He calls it. Julio just ignores and just keeps running, and they did collide. It wasn't a major collision.
I'd say softly.
It was soft, but it's still a collision, and it could have. Haniger actually held onto the ball and made the catch, but it's an unnecessary risk, and it's just like, Julio, what are you doing? It wasn't like they were both running for the ball, which in that case, center field would take priority.
Yeah, so you think this is Haniger's ball 100%?
He was already camped under it. It was like in right center. He is underneath it, glove up, waiting for it.
Let's say Julio has a beat on the ball, and he thinks he has a good running start for his throw, and he's trying to call Mitch Haniger off. Like, is it 100% Mitch Haniger's ball? If they're both calling for it, it should be Julio's. I know there's some quotes about how it's loud in that stadium and it's hard to hear each other. I'm sure they're both calling for that ball. But if Julio thinks he has a good angle and he has a running start on his throw, then, I mean, I see where Julio's coming from here. I see both sides, but I'm kind of more like, let Julio get this running-ass start and fire one home, because we didn't even get the throw to home because they collided. The throw went into third base, and they scored easily.
I do see your point, but Julio I don't think Julio had the right angle on it, because Mitch Haniger is camped, and Julio hit him running sideways, not in. So if anything, it would have even like pulled him further away.
Running in would be a different
If
thing.
Julio has the confidence to call off Mitch Haniger, it should be Julio's ball.
Headspace.
I don't
That's
know.
what he's saying. Something's weird.
That's Kevin Kiermaier type shit, though. But like, I don't want Julio to necessarily be that player. But I mean, I was a center fielder, and I've run into other fielders where I'm calling the ball, and I know it's my ball if I call it, and they hear me. And that's the way it is. And those guys are that way because they're so good. Actually, Julio has the most outs above average in the whole league right now. So
I mean, his defense is spectacular.
I'm just trying to be a little bit more on
I'm
Julio's side,
I'm
because
just saying,
he's one of the best defenders, and Mitch Haniger obviously isn't at this point. So I'm trying to feel that side out and try to side with the center fielder at this point.
Sure.
Well, fault
see it.
aside,
Either way,
there was a collision in the outfield. It did prevent the run.
it's a communication breakdown.
It is. And the throw, there was a runner on third. They did not get the throw in time. Yeah, it went to third base, and so run scores. And then Altuve, suicide squeeze.
He's doing what he does best, man.
And Rojas actually made a phenomenal bare hand grab. Looked like Suarez out there.
Yeah, looked awesome.
Unfortunately enough, they weren't expecting the squeeze, and Rojas was just a little too far back.
Yeah, he was playing like the baseline instead of in,
Yeah.
which he kind of had to play halfway at that point, but Altuve has too much speed.
Yeah, and it was a great play, but Altuve was booking and scored, and that's another run. And then the Mariners bullpen, the first real bad outing of the entire season from
and
our
it was
bullpen.
so bad. It's not bad compared to the rest, because the rest of their outings are great.
Yeah.
But no, this was bad.
It was.
Who were the guys who came in?
Started with Thornton, I believe.
Oh,
Thornton.
yeah.
And then Spire. And then
Dude, to have Thornton and Spire back to back be shaky that way.
who was after that?
That's not
There
very
was a third pitcher in there.
I don't know.
I don't have him in my
At that
notes.
point, they had already scored 4 runs on 2 hits, so they might have thrown Voth or somebody.
Yeah, it might have been
Bolton, or
both. But
just
yeah.
to finish it out, or like Tyson Miller maybe.
I don't think it was Miller,
But
I bet it was
at that point, the other pitcher doesn't matter because we're so far behind that
dude.
our offense really needed the help there.
I was just seething at that point. I wasn't paying attention to what pitcher fucked up the worst. They were all bad.
Thornton and Spire were the guys who both gave up hits and runs,
Dude.
and that's not a normal day for those
Not
guys.
at all.
They've been really fucking good for us.
There was 5 walks in that inning too. That's why they scored 4 runs on just 2 hits.
And that's unusual as well.
Yeah. A weird shaky outing from our bullpen that game.
Base running, defense, all of it is just not a good formula.
It was
winning.
bullpen, base running, and defense were super, super shaky.
The only solace I can take in that though is that it kind of reinforces how good our bullpen actually is. So for them to have like this kind of implosion in one game, and you're just like, oh, there's a good chunk of teams that their bullpen is like this more often than not. So the fact that like our bullpen is so locked down and so just like gung-ho.
It's not often that we have to deal with that kind of shit.
So it's bound to happen throughout a season. It was very odd to see them falter like that, but
That's
what are you going to do?
I will say that the Mariners, there is a lot of room for improvement. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're winning, and we're in
Absolutely.
first place. We're 3 games above 500, which is good, but it's not like we're rolling teams. We have 5 series wins in a row, but we've played a lot of tough games to get those wins.
A lot of one-run games.
We're not blowing teams out of the water. We do have a plus 12, probably plus 17 after today, our run differential, which isn't bad, but it's not awesome. Like, the top of our division, yeah, but there's plenty of other teams in
Our
the
division
AL
isn't spectacular
that are
right now.
better than us.
Being at the top of the division is cool for us,
Yeah.
but
So
it's
there's good things and there's bad things. It's
Yeah.
good to see that we're winning despite those tough things. It means this team has some tenacity. It has some flexibility. We're dealing with a couple injuries that we should get some players back soon and put things back into the team that we thought it would be with Canzone and JP Crawford. Those guys were big parts of this team that are missing right now. And in their absence, we're still winning games the way that we can, scratching and clawing, scoring an RBI double play. Just like the Mariners do best.
yeah.
I mean, that takes us into today.
Today's
Saturday.
game.
Finally, Logan Gilbert back on the mound.
Shut out the Astros at home, 5-0.
8 innings.
Pieced them up.
Walter. Cooking. He's cooking that special stuff for you. A nice batch of it.
Put up a fat 27 points for my fantasy team.
For the dub.
Nice.
That's
Walter's
a fat
making
day.
them.
Nice,
Walter's
dude.
making them feel blue. That's for sure.
Who you playing in fantasy?
Ashish.
Ashish?
Hey,
Cool.
shout out to Ashish.
Did you take the lead? You've been behind all week? Fuck yeah. Dude. Sorry, Ashish.
Thank you, Walter.
Yeah, hell
Thank
yeah.
you,
Logan.
Walter. My
Logan
God.
Walter
Needed that.
Gilbert.
This game, all Mariners, all Logan Gilbert. A few really exciting things I saw in this game from the offensive side. This was a huge one for me, and it's so funny because it's such a small thing. But in baseball, sometimes it's these little things that matter so much. Ty France in the second inning was down 0-1 in the count. The next pitch is way outside, off the plate, and the umpire gives the call to the pitcher. Calls it strike 2. Ty looks at it, shakes his head. He knows that pitch is off the plate. And so now he's down 0-2. The pitcher, now knowing that he's getting that call off of the plate, for his third pitch, throws it in the exact same spot. And Ty, knowing, okay, this is getting called a strike, expands the zone, swings, and ropes a nice liner right down the first base line. And, no runs, ended up scoring out of that. And it's very kind of, just a minor thing throughout the game. But just for him to recognize that where the umpire is calling this strike and to make that adjustment with 2 strikes just to get a base knock, that was a very artistic piece of hitting from hit artist Ty France.
That's right. Ty,
Very
my boy.
nice. Very nice.
Yeah, Ty has been doing his best to get the barrel on the ball no matter where the pitch is. He knows how to take a 2-strike approach. He knows how to hit the ball to right field. That's my favorite thing about Ty. The steps that he's taking, he hasn't been hit by a pitch this year. for one.
That's
That
incredible,
was one
given
of
his
strengths.
hit-by-pitch numbers last year.
He was-
It was one of his strengths.
He was on
Just
pace
wearing
to
it,
set
dude.
a MLB record for hit by pitches, dude. But yeah, he hasn't been hit once by a pitch, and he's swinging the bat and putting the barrel on the ball at a higher rate than he ever has. And his ability to do what he did there is something that just it's tough to watch Ty France be talked about on the trade market last year, and then also in the offseason to talk about non-tendering the dude.
Yeah.
But Driveline is proving effective, and I love to see him doing what he's doing. That's a perfect example of that. And those little things in the game, you say it's minor, those minor things.
Mm-hmm.
If more players do those little things, they add up to be, you put the ball in play and good things happen.
That's right.
Have a two-strike approach and put the ball in play.
We have been putting the ball in play a lot and just hitting it right at guys. It's just kind of a pattern of how things have been going this season.
When
There's
we
not
put the ball
a
in
lot
play.
you can do about it, really, because they're hitting it super hard. 108 off the bat, right at the second baseman. It's like, okay, bummer.
Sure. I see Luke Raley hit balls straight at the first baseman a lot, and they're
It
hard hit
happens.
balls.
Yeah.
You're right. It does happen. It is nice to see, though. Those are when those expected stats, when you see that their expected stats are higher than their actual stats, it means that, yeah, they've just been hitting it right at a guy when they hit it 111 miles an hour. It's straight at the first or third baseman, or like it's too far. It's a fly ball rather than a line drive.
What can you do?
It's baseball.
Yeah.
That is baseball. And
Where are we here? We're on Saturday?
Yeah, today, Saturday.
That was such a good win. What happened today? Urias? Is Urias with the home run?
Yeah.
hit a home run to dead center.
Dude, he needed that.
That was awesome. He had a home run dead center. Cal Raleigh had a nice 2-run bomb.
That was clutch.
And Logan just shut everything down. I mean, it's just a great win from top to bottom. And, you know, when Logan's on the mound, you have a good chance of winning that ball game.
Very good.
And, man, I wanted to see him get the complete game shutout. He was only, when he was done in the 7th, he was only at 80 pitches. And I was hoping that there was a chance he would get the complete game shutout. They did pull him in the 9th, but it was fine. His pitch count had gotten up a little bit, getting the 3 outs in the 8th inning, but still 8 innings, shutout ball. I mean, what more do you want from this dominant pitching staff? It's insane how good they are.
The story all day was Logan Gilbert.
Yeah.
Garver had 2 doubles. That was really nice to see. Cal Raleigh's home run was really nice. Was that from the right side against Framber?
Don't know.
Framber's the lefty. Either way, Haggerty had a play with Julio in left center field where Haggerty ran over and jumped in front of Julio to catch a ball too. So they're having miscommunication issues in the outfield, and I think it is really hard to hear in that stadium, but they're going to have to be able to communicate better out there. That's 2 things in 2 days where they're having issues with left field, or both fields, right and left, with Julio out there.
I was going to say, what's the common denominator in both of those plays to right and left field?
Yeah, it's Julio. Okay, I'll admit it. I'll be watching, though. I'll be seeing what's going on out there.
It's definitely something to take notice of, and hopefully it gets corrected soon, because it's only a matter of time. We're fortunate enough that in the past 2 days, these collisions have been super small and very light, but all it takes is one play where 2 guys are running and they don't call it properly, and it's a major collision, and you're looking at serious ramifications between injuries and just like, it's just a huge mess when collisions happen. You hope to never see them, especially at the major league level. So
It did happen recently this year with the Red Sox. Tyler O'Neill and Rafael Devers both took some days off, and Rafael Devers hasn't been the same since. He has a knee issue or something like that.
Damn.
And Tyler O'Neill hit his head and was out.
He needed
Concussion.
Tyler O'Neill had a concussion and needed 7 stitches.
That's a pretty serious knock.
Yeah,
A knee to head collision or something. I don't know how it was, but it was bad, and we don't need any of that.
We can't have that.
we can't have
It's
it.
too risky. But in better news, the Mariners have 21 consecutive starts with less than 3 earned runs.
I think it's less than 2.
It's 2 or less. Yeah,
Yeah.
2 or less.
Two or less.
So
Two
less
or
than
less.
3. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
That
2
would
or
be the
less
same
is
thing.
less than 3, technically. But
You're right.
yeah.
You're right.
No 3. Less than 3.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So 2 earned runs or less. And that is tied for second place in MLB history for this kind of streak.
yeah,
It's amazing, man.
We just tied like the 1956 Chicago White Sox or whatever for the second longest streak of all time with this. And then I think the longest streak is like, I don't know, the Washington Senators from
Yeah.
like the
It's like 1915
The
or something.
teens.
18.
Yeah.
back when
That's
old
1918.
Curly was on the mound.
Oh, Curly.
Well, they'll never hit his fastball.
Oh, his fastball's the best. Yeah, what about that palm ball? I heard he throws a nice palm ball.
That's the streak we're going up against from that long ago. And they're just playing on an old transistor.
I think we have a chance to tie that streak tomorrow.
I think
Isn't-
we're gonna
It's just one more game.
break the second place tie tomorrow. if
We can break. I
it.
think the first place is a few more games ahead, but
Okay.
I
I thought it
looked
was
at the list.
22 games.
I'm not entirely positive.
Okay.
But,
well, we will see.
And
We
the
will
Mariners-
Probably
see.
going to break the streak, or break the record, so
It will happen.
watch out
Yeah.
for that.
It's pretty
and-
much guaranteed the way our pitching has been.
the Mariners have a chance for another consecutive series win tomorrow against the Astros. Let's hope they take it. Also, it seems so weird that we're just a couple years removed from when the Mariners only beat the Astros one time in an entire season. They finished the record like 1-17 against the Astros, and
Boy, have the tides turned.
Astros are now at the bottom of the barrel, and the Mariners are looking hot.
Have the Astros won 10 games yet?
They're I think they're like 11-21, 22, something
Dude,
like that.
They've been surprisingly bad. I will say that's the biggest surprise in our division this year is how bad the Astros have been. But also the Oakland A's are like they're like one game under 500, third
They also
place.
put up 20 runs today.
They did.
Holy
and
shit!
they're
I did not
actually
see that.
Was it the Marlins?
It was
they
the
beat the
Marlins.
Marlins 20
Oh my
to
God.
4.
Yeah, 420 blaze it.
Okay,
Yeah.
blaze it, baby. Speaking
yeah,
of,
also the Athletics, their record is 17-17. That's not bad. That's
Yeah.
not bad at all. That's 500 ball. That's pretty good.
that's good shit. We're only 3 games over 500. That's kind of scary.
They're right behind us.
Yeah.
So are the Rangers. We're all right there, and then the Astros can.
Well, we got some topics to talk about. We got Bryce Miller. We got Mitch Garver. We got all kinds of things here in our notes, but we are going to take a break.
Quick
and
break.
Get right back with you in a few.
Yeah.
All right, we're back from break, everybody. Thanks for holding on. It was a lot quicker for you than it was for us.
And please, if
Like
you're
that.
watching, if you're watching this video on YouTube, please subscribe. Hit the like button. It does help us a lot. We're trying to gain a little bit of traction, and we've been growing a little bit. Please
Trying.
help us if you're a new watcher. And also audio listeners, like, subscribe. We'd really appreciate that. We're doing this on our own dime and our own time. So anything helps. And thank you guys for watching.
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you. And speaking of our fans and stuff, we actually had a community or a fan member request a topic for us to talk about. And that hot button issue is Mitch Garver. So,
Why is he off to a slow start is what our buddy Scott wants to know.
well, it's kind of funny that the day that Scott sent that comment and asked us to talk about Mitch Garver being bad was the day that Mitch Garver hit his walk-off home run.
Yep.
Kind of funny. And then today, as we were planning to talk about Mitch Garver being bad on today's episode, he hit 2 doubles today. So
He really
did.
doesn't want us to badmouth him at all. He's doing his damnedest.
it's like that typical Mariners thing where they just bring you to the brink where you can't take it anymore, and then they do just enough to like keep giving you hope. But
Classic Mariners.
classic Mariners. So he's fitting in that aspect. He's got the Mariners thing down pat. But yeah, he has not been good.
Terrible start.
It's very bad. And we had hyped it up going into this season. We were very excited to have an everyday DH, and he has been. He has been playing DH. He hasn't been doing it. He's in that position, but he hasn't been doing the designated hitting part of it.
Yeah, the hitting part, not very much. He's been designated to hit, but he hasn't been hitting. So
We were stoked that I got him, I think.
Hey,
Nice.
yeah, he did.
We were stoked that he doesn't have to play catcher anymore. He can just focus on one thing
Yeah.
and make that his priority. And oh my God, is he not doing
Yeah,
that?
let's save his knees a little bit, get him out of the game, let him just hit, because he is a good hitter. He's a good right-handed hitter. He hits left-handed pitching really well. Everything in his career leading up to this year has been pretty good. And honestly, it's tough to watch Mitch Garver go through these woes. And he was on Minnesota for about 5 years, Texas for 2 years. And he's been an impact bat when he's been healthy. So let's just do some comparisons from last year to this year. The dude is 33 years old now. He went from his 32 to 33-year-old season. Last year he hit 270, 370, 500. So a 270 batting average, a 370 on base percentage, which is pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. Like 400 is pretty elite, and a 500 slugging, and that's pretty damn good too. He had an 870 OPS, so he hit for power. This year, so far, he's hitting 138, 255, and 287 slugging. So this is a giant drop-off from what he's been doing these last couple of years. Last year, a 135 OPS plus. This year so far, 60. So... and that's based on an average in the league. And so he was 35% better than most of the league last year, and he's 40% worse than most of the league this year.
Tight.
I want to put into context a little bit. AJ Pollock last year in a almost the same amount of plate appearances was better than Mitch Garver.
Eesh.
That is shocking to hear.
And that dude got DFA'd.
These are very comparable
in July,
players.
I believe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if Mitch Garver doesn't pick it up, is he on the chopping block to get DFA'd?
It's different.
What are we going to do?
We have him next year too. So last year we ended up paying $8 million 1 year for AJ Pollock, and we ended up DFAing him and eating that money.
Yeah.
This year we have Mitch Garver for this year and next year. But I will say, when I looked at AJ Pollock's career numbers, you could see that drop off coming, where he played a half season, he played a whole season that wasn't good. You could see that drop off coming, just like Marco Gonzalez, where you can see his stats go down and his peripherals go down. And now with Mitch Garver, his career numbers have been good for years. There's no indication that it's going to get worse at all. With an 870 OPS last year, there's no indication that he's getting worse. He came to a new environment, and maybe that's what's throwing him off. He's not catching. He's not as involved in the game as, say, Byron Buxton. When Byron Buxton isn't playing the field and he's just a DH, he doesn't play as well. I feel like Mitch Garver might have that kind of thing going on too, but that's just more of a mental thing than a physical thing, right?
How long do we have Sebi Zavala?
Who cares?
Well, maybe we can throw the gear on Garver.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't think that would be something that's better for him in the long run for his health. Like, to stay healthy.
Make up your mind, dude.
No. What I'm saying is Mitch Garver should still be a hitter. I don't want him to go back to catching after he's done catching.
Okay.
Like, save his knees, but make him better at hitting. I don't know how.
Throw the pads on for a couple days and see how well he does.
Yeah, well,
Give him a couple days at catcher.
I was hoping that would be the case at the beginning of the season, but they're obviously over that.
I mean,
So-
dude,
I'm actually surprised that Garver hasn't gotten one game of catching. I mean, it's pretty rare that Cal misses a game in general, but usually it's par for the course after a night game on Saturday and a Sunday afternoon game. You usually rest your catcher on that day. Those are the days that we're seeing Cal not in the lineup. And I'm surprised that they haven't let Garver catch once. Like,
it's a day game.
Yeah, just, he does have the experience.
After we've already won a series, you know,
He's
they're
our
putting in
emergency guy.
Yeah.
Emergency catcher.
Okay, yeah.
He would catch if we had an injury in a game where Cal Raleigh may be DHing and Zavala's catching and we can't make that type of exchange. He'd be our backup catcher.
Right.
But I mean that he's not going to be starting games at catcher. That's not his role anymore. I don't know if that plays a role or not. I'm just bringing that up too. But
It's a thought,
It's a thought, but point blank, he's been bad.
very bad.
But like Matt said, we have him for 2 years. So, let's hope he figures it out. It can be, this is a tale as old as the Mariners of signing someone to come here who's been a prolific hitter and seems to get the job done, and then they come here and just fall off a cliff.
Adrian Beltre a little bit. Like, he did okay here, but it wasn't to his career numbers prior. Robinson Cano is another example where they come here, but they're not to their career numbers before they come to Seattle. They do okay, and they produce for us. They're lovable guys for a while and big part of our offensive culture, but they're not the guys they used to be. We're not signing the guys they were before, but we're signing the back end of their offensive career, which kind of sucks. And that is a Mariners curse a little bit. At least we're only spending $12 million on this, right?
Isn't it 24 mil, right?
Each year.
12 a year.
Yeah.
And, that's reasonable, I guess. That's what you kind of expect for a DH only. It might be, and especially a DH of that caliber. Like, the numbers he should be putting up are worth 12 mil a year. And he's not living up to that contract right now.
Let's get to some of those numbers here. I mean, the K rate.
Up 10%?
Yeah. So last year, his K rate was 23.8. This year, 32.4. So Mitch Garver is striking out 10% more than he has in the past. And last year is the most recent example, but his career numbers are similar to that. And I don't know how to explain that. I mean, he's just not, his timing is bad. He's not on the ball. And when he is on the ball, it's nice because he doesn't have that relief. You know what I mean? That home run really put him in a mindset where, like, I can do this. But then he struck out 2 times in 4 consecutive games following that. So it's like, dude, where you at here? Like, get in the game. So we were talking about expected stats a little bit, and his expected batting average and expected WOBA are in the dumps, and WOBA is the weighted on-base average, kind of like an on-base percentage type number. They're at 156 and 289 compared to last year's numbers of 255 and 493. Almost half of what he was doing last year. It's terrible, and those are expected.
Was that under 3 seconds? That avoids the copyright.
No, it's a cover, so we're good.
Yeah, we're making it our own content, It's fine.
But also, that's just his expected stats. Like, his expected stats are ass.
But
and his real stats are even fucking worse.
Yeah, even more ass, dude. The most buns they can be.
Oh, man.
So in 2023, he hit 243 with a 443 slugging against breaking pitches, and 244, 341 against off speed, which is those are all the curveballs, the sliders, the changeups. And this year on breaking pitches, he's hitting 0.56. His slugging is 0.56.
That's basically not hitting.
That's basically he got one hit
That's
once.
2 pitches or 2 hits. This is 2 hits on breaking pitches.
Dude.
And off speed, he can hit the changeup a little bit. The off speed pitch, I guess, 200, 300. Still not in line at all with what he's been doing in his career previously. And on the fastball, this is where he does most of his damage. He's really good at getting the backspin on the fastball. In 2023, he hit 299 with a 590 slug against fastballs.
That's great.
Yeah. This year, 195, 488. So that's about 100 points lower than it has been on versus fastballs, which is his strength.
So he can't hit the breaking balls, but he's making up for it by also not being able to hit fastballs.
Yeah. So it's a big problem. And it all has to do with, I think it's his timing, man. And it's hard to say that he's lost his touch. It's just that it's an environment change. It's a new role for him on a new team. And he's not seeing the ball well. I mean, his exit velo looks in line with 2023. Like everything, his exit velo looks fine, but his launch angle is super down, which means he's hitting a lot more ground balls. His whiff percentage is up and way up, especially on breaking pitches. So he's just not making contact, and that's hard to explain. His ground ball rate, go ahead.
Oh, ground ball, 56.4.
Huge.
I mean, over half the time. So when he is making contact, he's hitting it right into the ground. And I mean, like, I don't know. There's no answer, but it's literally just the same shit we've seen time and time again. And you can't really blame it on, like, the stadium or anything, because he's not hitting on the road either. It'd be
His
different.
away numbers are even worse.
Yeah. So it's not like we can be like, okay, well, he's adjusting to T-Mobile Park and he's not seeing the ball well there, but you know, at least he's getting it done on the road. So he's just not getting it done, period. And that home run, the walk-off home run, was, I mean, honestly, it could not have been more beneficial for him because that will buy him some more time.
That's what happened to Pollock last year. He had a really clutch late home run, go ahead or walk off home run around this time, and it bought him some more time to suck even more. So,
Yeah.
But I'm not as worried about Mitch Garver as I am about Pollock, because I think he is a higher tier player than that, just one step above. I've been saying that. I said that a couple weeks ago. I think that now. It's just that he has to make some adjustments to get on top of these pitches and see pitches out of the hand better. And it sucks that he's hitting better at home and worse on the road, because usually it's the opposite. Like, our stadium's not great for right-handed hitters especially, and he's hitting even worse on the road, which was where I would expect he's doing better, and at least it's not the T-Mobile Park factor like you guys are talking about.
No, it's
it's not.
He's just not hitting the ball.
No, and the
factor.
league average ground ball rate's 37%, and he's at 56%. That just doesn't help. He's hit into 5 double plays. He
Jeez.
doesn't help when runners are on base. His timing is off, man, but do you see him making the adjustments to get there this year?
Has to.
He has to.
Nobody's on the side of like, fuck Mitch Garver, get him out of Seattle.
I don't want to be there yet.
Right.
We're
But
running.
his numbers tell us that we should feel that way.
It feels like
Fuck these numbers.
We should feel exactly
But
like we did about Pollock. He's doing worse.
We should feel worse about it than Pollock, given his numbers. But I'm with Patrick. I'm not there yet.
I'm not. I mean, it's getting closer, and you know, maybe
How bad does it need to get before you're like done?
I mean, it's
there.
It's like as close as it can get before you're just like, what are we doing here? You know?
Yeah.
But
Hopefully these 2 doubles is a nice turnaround point for him. I will say that, like, he's on our team this year and next year, and we have to ride it out regardless. We can't just DFA this guy. And if we can trade him like he doesn't have trade value if he's performing the way he does this year compared to what he has in the past.
Who's the Marlins DH?
Man, I mean, he's super comparable to Pollock. Through 98 plate appearances last year, Pollock slashed 161, 235, 333 with a 21.5% K rate. And Garver, through 102 plate appearances this year, 158, 255, 287 with a 32.5% K rate, which is insane. At least his WRC plus is 66, which means the league average is doing worse. But either way, that's bad and worse. And we don't, like, the only thing I see is we sit Mitch Garver more until he can work on things behind the scenes and get his timing back up to speed and push Haniger and Rayleigh into a defense right field platoon. I feel like Rayleigh could play some right field, and Mitch Haniger needs some extra days off.
Oh, yeah.
Or just play DH rather than be in right field. So
totally.
We have a right-handed and a left-handed platoon we can play in right field and DH. And I don't think that's an issue because we have so many left field flex players that Rayleigh and Haniger could be our DH right field platoon while Mitch Garver takes some extra days off to get things back up to speed. But would you rather do something like that and have Mitch Garver take days off or have him try to adjust at game speed?
I was actually going to say that's one of the things that I think is weird is that you look at so many of these other guys that are getting platooned at bats. Urias, Rojas sometimes, Rayleigh, all these guys that are just moving pieces in the lineup. And they are sticking with Garver day in and day out. So it looks like they want him to figure it out at the plate.
But at this point, what do you do? You can't keep doing it if he's not figuring out after April. We're in May now. Do you have to be like, hey man, take some time off and work in the cage to get that reaction time or whatever it is?
Is it getting worse?
I think it would get worse if you keep playing him the way he's been playing. I hope
maybe they're looking at it like it's not getting worse.
It's the same amount.
There. Yeah, it's the same
amount of shit. So
you can't have him in the middle of the lineup doing that.
Yeah. And you don't want your DH in the 8 or 9 spot. He needs, basically point blank, he needs to figure it out. We're running out of time for him to figure it out. And yeah, maybe they do cut some of his at-bats and just have him work on stuff. Ooh, I might have a prediction. Do you think that we might see a phantom IL stint in his future?
He did have back spasms early in the year. They could use that as a precursor to be like, yeah, he's been having back problems this whole time. Mm-hmm. I mean, the league has tried to cut down on that type of thing. I think they finally not docked a team for doing that, but they're going to pay that fine, no problem. Who cares? They're still going to use Phantom IL. And yeah, I mean, that is one solution.
Maybe he needs to go see Ty France's chiropractor.
Yeah.
And also for any of our viewers who don't know what a Phantom IL stint is, that's basically when a player is not performing well, but you can't send them down to the minors. You don't want to bench them or whatever.
So you lie.
So you lie. You say they have an injury that they don't have, and that gives them about 2 weeks to kind of figure shit out while you bring someone up from the minor leagues and have them get some at-bats and some play time. We have seen it happen. It happens a lot with pitchers. Pitchers are a big one because it's really easy to just say, oh, arm soreness, shut them down for 2 weeks as they kind of work through the yips. And I would not be surprised if we see a little Phantom IL stint for Garver in the future, especially if, again, today, his 2 doubles, who knows? Maybe that buys him a little bit more time. But that rope is running out quickly.
I just don't want that time to be bought and then have him strike out 2 times in 4 consecutive games again. I don't want to see him do a little bit and just enough to stay in the lineup every day and still struggle. I'd rather that they take him out of the lineup and let him work on things behind the scenes rather than let him to continue to struggle in game. Like, let him feel right and then go out there and start attacking in small bits. Let him have that pinch hit late in the game when there's a lefty in and you need him to pinch hit. And, like, I don't know. I would rather see that because the way it's going, it's not good. He should have already been able to make an adjustment at this point, and he hasn't. I'd rather see Rayleigh and Mitch Haniger in the DH spot and Rayleigh more in right field and Haniger more at DH than to watch him in the lineup every day. So I do trust that he can still get it done because he hasn't had much of a fall off. His last year was really good. He won the World Series last year. Maybe it's a little World Series hangover, but I don't know what it is. But
he got his ring week and a half ago.
I could see him just not playing as much these next couple weeks and hopefully figuring it out behind the scenes and seeing an adjustment eventually. There's got to be some reason that we don't know about that he can't get it done, but it's all about timing. I don't know if his bat speed's down. I haven't looked up those like StatCast stats yet, but I'm going to look at his bat speed, but everything else is down. His exit velo.
Timing.
Yeah, it's all timing.
I Garvered
stuff,
it, sorry.
That was good.
It's all timing.
Stupid.
No, I like it. Because that's like the...
And relevant. It's all timing, man.
Yeah. Well, we're good at a couple things.
Yeah.
Pitching's good.
Really good at pitching. We lead the league in quality starts. That's a good thing. Our bullpen ERA is very good. I don't know if it's gone up since the last little blow up with Thornton and Spire the other day, and Stanek's been blown up a little bit. But Stanek is the only player in our bullpen who has over 3 ERA, and it's like over 4. But everyone else has less than 3 ERA, 2 point something, 2 point
can
something.
Just pass that 2 out mark.
Yeah.
He'll be all right.
So our whole bullpen's been locked down. Even
Yeah.
Tyson Miller.
Yeah.
Even guys like Cody Bolton has been very surprising. Spire's moved up into a higher leverage role.
Saucedo's great.
Saucedo creates really good ground ball rate. That's what we need. Lefties that get the ball on the ground when we need it. Great. Awesome. Just adds to the stack of pitching that we need to produce some offense somehow. Like
defense
I
has
wish
been
the pitchers could do
generally
offense stuff.
good. Yeah.
We have an overflow of pitching talent that maybe they can hit the ball or something. Taylor Saucedo, can you hit?
I
Let
saw
us know.
I saw some crazy numbers where like the Mariners are second in overall ERA on the pitching side and like 27th in batting average.
Yeah.
And we're in first place, which just goes to show how insane our pitching actually is. During our, not necessarily a win streak, but I guess our series win streak of winning all these consecutive series, our hitting has been atrocious. Our team batting average is in the ones, and we have won 6-7 consecutive series now, have a chance to win another one tomorrow on Sunday. And could you imagine this team if we had competent hitters? Like, we would be so far ahead in first place right now. And again, still happy just to be in first. We're above 500 by a couple games.
Yeah.
And
3 games. We need to keep stacking those wins, though. Like I keep saying, 10 over 500. That's where we want to be. Shoot for it. Don't just linger around 500. Like you get swept and be at 500 again. No.
Yeah.
Like we want to be 10 games over, and that's really where we want to shoot for. Not this 54% bullshit.
And the Mariners have a rough series coming up. We're going up against the Twins. They're playing good ball over there in Minnesota right now.
Good ball, just good.
They're playing great ball. They're
12-0 in their last 12 games.
Yikes.
I didn't know that. They're on a
12 gamer.
Shit.
Yeah, and we play a 4-gamer against them.
Oh, shit.
So with our team slashing 219,
Damn, that
297,
sucks. Yeah.
354 for a 650 OPS, 25th in the MLB. That's where the Pittsburgh Pirates are, where the Detroit Tigers are. That's not gonna cut it. Our pitching can't carry us the whole entire year. Or they're gonna try to.
They're gonna do their
They're
best.
gonna do
Do the damnedest.
Mitch Haniger, this last 7 games is 087 batting
Yes.
average. Awful. His last 30 games, he's batting 200 with a 318 slug. Pretty bad. Cal Raleigh this last 7 games is 087 with a 217 slug. Luckily, he hit that home run today. That helps. Helps the Penguin.
The Penguin.
We cannot let that catch on.
I'm going to try. It wasn't even cold, and the Penguin still got it done.
Yeah. He doesn't only hit well in Toronto and Colorado.
But we'll see. He's going to Minnesota for 4 games. Let's see how the Penguin does there.
Well, I didn't want to bring it up. I'm going to bring it up.
Bring it up.
Today, I was like, if the Mariners don't score at least 5 runs, we might have to go reach back in the depths and pick up Mike Ford again.
Mike Ford is getting like non-tendered or something,
Yeah,
right?
I think he just got DFA'd by, could
The
be
Reds
anybody.
or-
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's out there.
Man,
We've seen what he can do.
I like Mike Ford. Let's put him in at DH.
That's what I was thinking going into the game today. Luckily, we put up 5 runs against the Astros and shut them out. And I was like, okay, maybe we'll be all right.
Well,
But
good, because
the
we have
more
a-
we talked about Garver just
Yeah.
not doing it, I was like,
What about a Luke Raley, dude?
Mike Ford looking kind of.
Yeah. Mike Ford.
From Cincinnati Reds Nation, it looks like as of 7 hours ago from right now, Cincinnati Reds released Mike Ford.
Pick him up.
Pick him up. Fuck it. Who cares?
Luke Raley.
Cares?
Luke Raley has kind of been our Mike Ford this year. And this last week, he has been pretty good. He's been 5 for 13. That's over 400 batting average. He's getting it done in higher leverage spots, slapping singles through the infield. He hasn't been putting the ball in the air like last year Luke Raley was. But Luke Raley has been getting it done. He can steal a bag, score a run, get an RBI. He's not Mike Ford, but he's filling in as best as he can. I want to see him get more plate appearances.
Oh, absolutely.
And this last week has been a good thing to see him before Canzone comes back to be able to show that he can make an impact and help win some games.
Honestly, let's sit Garver a game or two and let Raley get some DH action.
I like that.
Yeah, he
Mitch
needs more
Haniger.
at bats.
we got to do something.
We got to do something.
You can't just let it ride the way it is now.
Yeah, our offense needs to pick it up in general. And, we're going for a series win tomorrow against Houston. And
The
then
rubber match.
the rubber match.
Doable.
I always thought they called it the rubber match because one team is going to get screwed.
I like it.
Thank
That's
you.
funny.
Thanks. and then 4 in Minnesota against a red hot team, and then coming back home to face the Athletics
For the first time this year.
Yeah, and the Athletics are not the laughingstock that they were a year prior. Now that's reserved for the Marlins and the White Sox.
And they have Mason Miller, that was a starting pitcher last year. He's the guy that Bryce Miller made his debut against, and they had a crazy pitcher's duel. They made him a closing pitcher, and he throws the ball about 102, 103 miles an hour. He's been a lockdown closer for them, and that's a big reason why they're winning a lot more close games.
We need our offense to step it up, score runs before the 8th inning.
Yes, that is not going to work out against the A's anymore.
All right. So, well, even though we've had our frustrations and the offense hasn't been clicking like it should, the Mariners are still winning ball games, still winning series. Pitching is top tier like we knew it would be. And yeah, let's just get those bats going and let's get a real nice, comfortable lead in first place.
Hopefully we see Brian Wu come back soon. We might see him make a start this week.
Hopefully we see JP come back soon.
And yeah, JP's ramping up. Dom Canzone. If those guys come back, we're back on track and we have everything back in place. There's not as many moving parts as there are now.
Yep.
And it puts things back into perspective where, like, we're just doing it with the guys that are filling in and playing any role they can. We have a lot of flexibility on our team. Our pitching is carrying us, and our bats need to heat up. This is something we lead the league in strikeouts. We can't do that. That's something we wanted to cut down on. We want to put the ball in play more, and we haven't been doing that. So those are two things that we don't like while we're winning 5 hopefully 6 series in a row here. And, I mean, go Mariners. You heat up those bats. Put them in the oven for a little while. Put it on a little preheat. You know what I mean? It makes them nice and crispy so you get that nice contact. I don't know. Do something.
Do something, because right now it's.
The bats are on
Put them
ice.
in on the bread-proof setting.
Yeah, dude.
Like
Exactly.
anything.
Yeah, they need to rise a little bit.
Yeah.
They've been on ice for a while, dude. Just let them rise for a little while. Let's get those bats in action.
And hopefully we'll be back next week with nothing but good news about how the bats have been phenomenal. And Mitch Garver is on a 7-game hitting streak.
3 home runs, 7 RBIs. Yep, Mitch Garver. Let's go.
So we've still got positive vibes. Things are still looking good. And we'll be back next week to make you all the most informed Mariner fans in the world.
That's right.
Thank you all so much for listening. And we'll see you all next week. And go Mariners!
Get dented.
Get it.